We all know extraordinary people who do extraordinary things. They may not be famous or wealthy or powerful, but they have a generosity of spirit and a capacity for love that is awe-inspiring. Whether it's a friend who goes out of their way to help others or a complete stranger who does something kind and unexpected, these are the people who remind us that there is still goodness in the world. Meeting ordinary people who do extraordinary things is always a special experience, one that inspires hope and reminds us of our own potential to make a difference. Join me in taking a deep dive into why these special individuals do what they do. There's no denying that the world could use more kindness, and it all starts with each of us. My name's Irene Meyer, and I'm here to deliver stories about regular people who do inspiring things every day. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again. I am so excited to introduce you to my next guest, Patrick. I really wanted to ensure that everybody who I know and all the network and the audience that I do have on my channel really understand this amazing man, father, business owner. He has some big dreams. I was really excited to meet him, really motivated by his vision and his mission for what he wants to bring out into the world. The owner of Bighorn Business Solutions. He's a founder of All Stones Girls Leadership Adventure Camp, which I'm excited for him to talk about as well. Everybody, I hope you enjoy my conversation with Patrick. Now, is it Patrick Shaw? Is that how you?
Yeah, Jean if you're French, or if it's a little too hard to say, you can say Jean if you want.
Jean. Okay. Well, either way, I want to make sure I get your name right. Now, Patrick, I guess when we talk about a lot of the things you do right now, tell our audiences first a little bit about your background.
So I come from a small town here in Alberta, and I grew up doing a lot of different things. So I have a varied background, some history in agriculture and oil and gas. So typical Alberta youth. So I worked in all these different industries, and I did a lot of time working in electronics as well. I've got a variety of different experiences, worked some experience in finance as well. And I've put all these together now, and I've worked my way through university, taking all these experiences from my past and kind of putting them together to get a business to really show people what Albertans can do and what we can do if we put our minds to it on the sustainability side.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, like I'd mentioned, you had also founded a girls' camp. Tell us a little bit about that. I found that to be remarkable, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So the girls' camp kind of started organically. While I was in school, I started a father, I have kids, and I would take my kids to Scouts Canada. We were members of Scouts Canada, and we went through the Beavers program and Cubs program and the Scouts program. My kids were third generation Scouts. I was in Scouts when I was younger. My mom was a first generation female Scout in Canada in the early 70s. So they were quite excited to be third generation Scouts, and we started going camping and doing some stuff together. But when the pandemic hit, we kind of had to find a way to keep some of those adventures going. So we started going out on our own. And then eventually my kids decided that they didn't want to do stuff with just their dad, that they'd like to have some friends along for the adventure. And they started inviting their friends. And it grew from 2 to 4 to 6. And this summer we were 10 kids and 2 adults, 2 dogs, full camp for this year. So it was quite the adventure.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned 2 businesses that you've started that you sound very passionate about. Tell me the story behind both of them, if you don't mind, like the passion, the kind of the vision and the mission of both the companies you run.
Well, it's all tied very much into, I guess, who I am and the way I grew up. Right? I grew up in small towns, and I grew up low income, so it was very much learning how to be efficient with the things that we had, whether that was food or finances or even the things just using our language and culture, making sure that we're sustaining that. So very much grew up in a sustainability minded life. I didn't quite put everything together, and I didn't quite see it that way until I had some great instruction in university and some great teachers who were able to shine some light on what I was doing. It really kind of the sustainability aspect of the business that I'm doing. My for-profit business is focused on helping other businesses either develop their sustainability goals and achieve them, or developing businesses in the sustainability space that will help push the sustainability in general, environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, but we also look at cultural and social sustainability as well. And with the girls adventure camp, again, very personal. I'm a dad, two young ladies. Always been a big believer in gender equality. I was raised by a strong mom and my grandma, so they were very important women in my life. And so being a single dad of two young girls, it kind of really enforced those values, and really wanting to make sure that young ladies and women like my daughters could have a good male role model, but have an opportunity to push themselves a little bit and be leaders. We often hear that young girls can be coddled, and they're not they're held back maybe sometimes a little bit more than young boys are, maybe out of fear or just tradition. But that's not something that a view I've ever held myself personally. I know some of the moms in our group call me just a typical dad, but this is I like to I treat them fairly, just like I would it's anybody else, and I like to push them so they can see where their limits are and they can see how strong they are. And so that's really important for me.
That's beautiful. To be honest, like I think young girls nowadays really need to know that they are empowered, and what an awesome gift to be able to share that through your camp. And what a great I guess legacy you're going to be leaving for your girls to be able to feel empowered. And you mentioned that you're single, to be able to know that dad is in their corner and to empower them to really just do whatever they want. So, I mean, I'm not a mother, but I'm sure I can say thank you on behalf of mothers who have crossed your path. I'm curious to find out, based on maybe your Bighorn business or Bighorn Solution, is it Bighorn Business Solutions?
Yes.
Yes. What do you provide to the clients that you help? I guess more specifically, I don't want to sound naive, but I want to be very specific in terms of what you provide to your specific clientele.
I guess that depends on the client themselves. I provide basically in two different ways, right? So sustainability consulting, I focus on looking at the systems, kind of systems mapping, and analyzing their systems and seeing where they could, the four pillars of sustainability that our company is built on, where those pillars fit into the organizations that we're working with. And so if they're looking at environmental or economic or cultural, wherever those pillars they want to focus on, provide them with a solution for that, while still Maintaining focus on all four pillars, right? Not necessarily, if a client is economically focused or environmentally focused, right? We want to remind them of the full picture, right? We'll achieve those goals, but also keep bringing in that information and reminding them there are opportunities for cultural sustainability and social sustainability goals to be intertwined in there. Examples, we are helping an organization build a geothermal company. Right? So that is as one of them. We've also got an organization that is in the textiles industries with their sustainability goals, understand the manufacturing processes and where they could go in the future to make their product more sustainable. And give them a path, a direction on where they're going, provide them with this roadmap, basically, to hit and achieve those sustainability goals.
I think your service is becoming more and more important, I think, as time goes by, especially with where people want to represent their company in terms of being responsible, environmentally responsible, socially responsible. I admire you for taking kind of the bull by its horns, excuse the pun, bull by the horns, and actually leading that and finding a niche to be able to serve. But I guess what I had to kind of narrow down maybe the biggest problem that your service would solve, what would that look like?
We facilitate to finding solutions. There's a lot of organizations that want to do things differently, but just don't know how. They don't know the first steps. They don't know the direction. They don't know how to work with regulatory. They don't know if this technology is the best or if that technology is the best for them. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that can be done. There's a lot of different directions that can go. Organizations can go to achieve their goals. There are a variety of different goals, right? Many organizations tend to use ESG, so economic, social, governance, right? Cultural aspect of it kind of comes into it as well. Right? It's just making sure that to help bolster and maintain different cultures that are around here. Not necessarily just those native to Canada, but those who are growing and immigrant cultures who are looking to get established in Canada as well. There's a lot of different opportunities in sustainability in different ways of looking at it. We just kind of help unmuddy the waters, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it could be useful for sure. Maybe I'm naive to think that it's relatively new. Maybe it's been around for quite some time. It sounds like there would be eventually an evolving need for more of you. Brings me to my next question. And maybe you've already answered it in a roundabout way, but I really want you to kind of explain, like, what makes you passionate about the work you do, in both lines of your work, if you don't mind me asking.
I don't know any other way to be in many ways, right? I've always kind of had an ability to kind of take a systems view, kind of a 360 view of things. And, the more I get that perspective of, the world we live in and understand how systems work, and what it means for not only me and our current generations, but for my children and their generation and stuff like that. I want to make sure that they have a place to live. One of the biggest things that we like to think about is it's not the earth that's going to die if we don't take care of it. We're doing this for humans. Right? The earth will survive, right? But it's humans that need to figure out how to live on earth sustainably. Right? And that's where my passion is making sure that we can live sustainably. And a lot of that is a return or kind of a turn away from a Western mindset in many ways. But without sacrificing it, I guess, in too many ways, right? So there's many people who live within that mindset. So trying to find a way to help people to maybe change their mindset a little bit and see that, every little bit helps, and that they can be a part of this too. This isn't, some ideological thing. It's something we can all be part of, and we should all care about the environment, and we should all, it shouldn't be a political divide. We all live on this planet. We should all have somewhere healthy to live, right? And so that's kind of where my mindset is at, and trying to see it in that perspective. It's just, thinking about my kids in the future, and making sure that we have somewhere for them.
Wow, I've never heard about it. Like I've never put that way before, where it's not about the earth, because the earth is going to be there, but we as humans need to learn how to live on it. I've never heard it that way, but before, and you're right. I mean, we come and
Yeah.
go, I suppose, right?
Yeah, and I'm not the first one to say this. This is not an original thought or anything like that, but it is, it's very true, right? With the earth, will find a way to survive, right? But it's whether we can, as a society, as humanity is now, right? And we may, right? But at what cost, right? And so that's the other thing as well, right? It's not just because we might survive and it might be okay, right? Well, what's that cost? And is it the best way, right? Why can't we just look and find the best way so that we can survive and thrive, right?
Um, so, one of the reasons why I was compelled to talk to you, Patrick, in the first place was you just exuded, I guess, this aura about leadership. And whether or not that's something you focus on in your businesses, I would love to understand kind of how you define leadership, how that kind of gets incorporated into your businesses or your line of work in your family. Just because, of course, my audience is aspiring leaders, if not leaders already. And I would love your take on how you lead yourself and what you see as leadership.
So I see myself as an authentic leader. My heart on my sleeve. You know how I feel, no matter whether it's good or bad, right? You're gonna know how I feel, right? My direction is about empowering others. I don't want to be the smartest person on the team, right? I'm looking to be a team builder, someone who can build communities and organizations, and bring them together and find the best people for the job, right? Whether that's me or not, right? My view is also that, if I've got people on my team as a leader, my job is to help the people on my team be the very best that they can be. And if that means that to be the best that they can be, they're going on and beyond to different teams and different things than they're doing with me, then I am there as part of that process to help them grow. Right? I'm not here to rope them into being stuck in my little circle, in my organization or whatever. Right? I understand that people have their lives and their trajectories, and if the path, if my organization or my business I'm working with, or the team I'm working with, is the end position or the end goal for that person, then that's great. That's fantastic, and we're gonna have a great relationship for many years. But if that person, if it's a stepping stone and they've got big ambitions, then I'm here not just for them to be there, right? And I'm gonna lift them up, and I'm gonna try to rocket them to the next step, right? Because that's what great leaders do, right? I'm not here to hold people back. I'm just here, to help them grow wherever they're at. I follow their growth path.
Love it. Now, out of curiosity, do you follow anybody in the leadership space, or did you learn what you value in leadership from going to school, if you don't mind me asking?
A lot of it is going to school, personal values. I do follow Gary Vee is probably the leader I relate to the most because of this. Just lead with passion, lead with love and friendship and kindness, right? In competition, right? I love how he just frames competition. It's be friends with your competitors, right? You get to know them. They grow, you grow, right? And it's those different mindsets of where, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Things like that. And I'm just tired of the toxic competition. I'm tired of the toxic growth and mindsets, right? I want people to be the best that they can be without having to destroy others to do, right? So if you have to destroy something to be better, right, then that's not a true sign of greatness, right? So it's very much about just making sure it's all that authentic leadership and growing and being truly are by being a good person.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's simple, right? But it's sometimes overlooked when you, like you said, get into, the traditional corporate toxic environments, not realizing until you realize there's a different type of leadership out there, right? I remember working in the corporate world and realizing from outside that I was, again, in a quote unquote toxic environment, just didn't know. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I feel I compare it, it's like the old frog in warming water. You don't know it's boiling because you grew up in that, right? And we're all kind of in many ways accustomed to that, right? And so and I'm just trying to provide a different environment so to show people that, hey, you don't have to be accustomed to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one last question, and if you could leave a lasting message for your audience, for my audience, what would that message be, Patrick?
I guess one lasting message. Just be kind, right? Try to look at things a different way, right? Ask yourself why, right? And be able to look within and try to, challenge your own biases, I guess. That's probably one of the biggest things. Right? If you can challenge your own biases, then you'll find that you have a lot of room for growth. And there's a lot of places that you can improve yourself. And so I think that's something we all need to kind of do sometimes. And right, especially if we're feeling, somebody once told me that, if you're feeling triggered, it's an opportunity for growth. Right? So if you find yourself triggered, ask yourself why. Why are you feeling this way? Why are you upset, or why are you sad, or why are you, right? And then see it as that, as an opportunity. So I think that's what I think.
Yes. If you find yourself triggered, that's an opportunity for growth. I absolutely love that. That resonates with me very much. So you're quite a busy man. So I do appreciate the time that you took to spend with me. And I can't wait for the rest of my listeners to be able to hear this. And of course, anybody who feel like they could use Patrick's services, whether that they want to enroll their daughter in his camp or even use his services through Bighorn Business Solutions, please reach out. Thank you again, Patrick, for spending time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Irene.
I'm looking forward to seeing you grow, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hey, good afternoon. I want to come on here